know you want to learn how to make tires work on iRacing, so stick around because you're about to find out. What's going on, guys? My name's DJ and welcome to my channel. If you guys want to learn how to make your car go faster in iRacing, have some adventures in both real life and in iRacing with me, then don't be afraid to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to get updated when we have a new video. I also stream on YouTube Sundays and Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Central Time, so if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask me there or drop them in the comment box down below. Also, if you want to be a part of the community and have some input as far as setups or help other people out, don't be afraid to join the Discord. That link is in the description down below. So without further ado, guys, let's get into the basics of tires and iRacing right now. So we're going to go over tire management, tire temperatures, air pressures, and front and rear staggers to start. So we all know that being the fast guy on iRacing is definitely a challenge, and you have to build that knowledge up to make it so any car you jump into, you have speed. So first, let's talk about temperatures. There's a 3-stage number on each tire on iRacing, and we're going to go over them. It's the inside, middle, and out, and that tells you a whole lot about how your car is handling, even if you can't get much feedback from the driver. So let's check it out over on the rig. All right, guys. First thing is tire temperatures and how to read them, but first we need some data. So we're going to make a couple laps and see where we end up. Alright guys, so for a super late model, default setup, linear, day, we're going to check out what we got. So we went out, we made about 5 or 8 laps, we could see what kind of tire temperatures we have. We have about 132 in the right rear and about 138, a little lower with the right front outside, a little colder. What that tells me is the car's tight. So the biggest things you can look at is the right side tires and how they look. If they're even, the car's pretty balanced. If the right rear is a lot hotter, the car's real free, and if the right front's hotter, you're generally tight. You always want to get as much heat as you can in the left front for grip and cut on that left side tire, and your left rear is drive, so you always want to make sure that the outside of the left side tires are the hottest and the inside of the right side tires are the hottest. You look for that spread. So right here, we have 138 on the inside and 125. 13 degrees isn't super aggressive, but it's definitely the way you want to see it read. As well as the left front, you see 115 on the outside and 79 on the inside. So both tires are angled right with the track. You want to hit that perfect amount so that way you can get maximum tire on the track for maximum grip. So in reading that, now we know a little bit more about tire temperatures. All right, so now we know about tire temperatures. Next, we're going to head over to the rig one more time and check out air pressures and how they affect the handling of the race car. Now we're going to look at air pressures. 19 on the lefts, 23 on the rights. Pretty simple. It's what iRacing gives you, and it's really not that far off. Adjusting these can adjust your ride heights and how the car handles. So we already made a couple laps. We didn't do any changes. Let's make a big swing since we were tight and put 4 pounds in the let's make a big swing and put 4 pounds in the right rear. That should free us up some. So as we're making our way onto the track, we know that we made that change. At the same time, it could help us, but if it's too high, that right rear could just start slipping and have no grip at all. Let's see what it does. Immediately, I feel it a little bit more free coming off the very end of the corner, and that's kind of how it works. If you adjust the back side of the car, the end of the corner is what's going to be affected. 13.453. It definitely feels like it's rotating a little bit more, which is a good thing, but you want to adjust for how long your race is. So if you're in a 100-lap race, if you can't drive it, like it's already getting loose, then you might want to adjust your air pressures. Let's bring it in. All right, so we have a new set of readings and data that we can analyze. We can see the spread's pretty much the same, but this air pressure is 4 pounds heavier, and it showed it was a lot more free. See how much more even our right side tires are? 133 on the whole right side. So we brought balance back, but that may not be what you want at this specific track. So here at Lanier, you do want a little bit more drive. So I don't know how long I could have been able to hold on for that more free of a setup. But you got to find that happy medium, and that's definitely a big tuner that you could use. Let's make a huge jump and lower all the air pressures all the way around by about 5 pounds and see what that does. First thing we notice is we actually failed because we lowered it down so much. Our limit's 3 inches on the left front, so we're going to have to raise it all the way around to make sure we're legal and we pass tech. All right, so we dropped the air pressure about 4 pounds all the way around. We'll see what that does after we raise the car up. It should feel a little more in the track, but if you go too low on air pressures, the tire flex will be so significant that it won't even grip the track. So we'll see what that does. So it doesn't feel bad. It was actually a lot faster than it was on the higher temperatures, which was a good thing, but it did tighten up quite a bit. Let's take a look at our data and see what we end up with. So we went up about 1.5 pounds, a pound here. The live readings show the last hot pressures. We went up about 1.6 pounds and 1.4 pounds here. So it's showing tight again because I went down to standard 23 and then back down to 19 to keep these even. So it does show tight. If I want to creep that up with air pressure, it's definitely a move I can make. But maybe it's a stagger change? All right, now that we know a little bit more about air pressures, let's dabble into front and rear stagger and see how that affects the car as well. All right, so let's check out stagger. So we've made those changes, we've read the tire temps, we've made some air pressure changes. Let's just go straight up and see what a stagger change would do. We see that we were a little bit tight with the right front being a little hotter. Let's try to go up and stagger and see if that helps the handling of the car a little bit different all the way around. Instead of 1.5, let's try 1.75 and see what it does. All right, so in doing this, this should help the back end rotate more. We're creating a bigger difference in the size of the tires in the back because they're not radius tires like your standard car or truck. They're actually bias ply tires, so they grow and shrink. So we should have a little bit more movement with our rear, and we should come around a little better, making us a lot able to cut a lot more coming off the corners. You could see it there already, making a pretty big change just in one corner. So we'll see if it keeps doing that, because you want to get heat in the tires to get a really true read on how the car is handling. So definitely a bit more free, but pretty much the same speed. And as the race goes on, I feel like you're going to get a little bit tighter here, so that might be a good move. If you could stay around the O's or the 1s in this kind of setup, it's not bad. Obviously, the longer you spend and you tune it more to your style, you'll go faster. So we came in, still a little bit more snug, but definitely helped the car rotate a little better. So it's just a smidge snug in maybe. Maybe a possible stagger change on the front could fix that. If I go down on the front stagger, it's actually going to make that difference a lot smaller, and it's going to make it so it's not as tight going in. So a front adjustment is going to affect the entry and the early middle, and a rear adjustment is going to affect the back end of the middle and the end of the corner. So we went down and stagger. Let's see what happens. So we should be a little bit better going in the corner to take away that tire temperature difference from right front to right rear. So let's see what happens. All right, so a couple 13 ones and twos. It's definitely getting more and more to the feel that I want, but all that's just going to take laps and time. So pay attention to the track temperature and the setup that you have. Know what you have so you know where you might want to go, and you can always revert back to something that worked in the past. All right, so we're way closer. We're about 5 degrees difference instead of about 10, so that's good. We're slowly inching our way up, and we haven't even touched the suspension yet. Remember, these late models are on the older tire model, not compared to the ARCA cars, the street stocks, and a lot of the cup cars. So pay attention to all that kind of stuff. Stay up to date with everything you're doing there, and you'll be right at the top of the charts by the end of the practice. All right, guys. So we talked about tire temperatures, air pressures, and staggers. We saw what it did to the car to make it faster or slower and how it affected handling. I hope this video helps you out, guys. Remember to subscribe for more tips and tricks. We're going to wave the checkered flag on this one, but I'll see you next time.
Yes.